The phone slipped from my hand, clattering onto the hardwood floor with a sharp crack that echoed through the empty kitchen like a gunshot. On the screen, frozen in mid-laugh, was my wife, Elena. Her arms wrapped around a stranger's neck in a dimly lit bar. But it wasn't the image that gutted me. It was the text thread above it, unearthed from her hidden app. "Do it, Mom," my daughter Sophia had written. "It'll empower you. Dad's been holding you back for years. You deserve this freedom." Elena's reply: "You're right, sweetie. Tonight's the night. Wish me luck." My vision blurred with hot tears, rage boiling in my chest like acid, searing every nerve. How could they? My own flesh and blood, conspiring to shatter our life. I staggered back against the counter, the cold granite biting into my palms as I gripped it for support. The house smelled of Elena's lavender diffuser, a scent that now twisted into something nauseating, mocking. Outside, the autumn wind howled against the windows, rattling the panes like accusatory whispers. 23 years of marriage, 2 decades of building a home, raising Sophia. Gone, poisoned by this betrayal. My mind raced, replaying fragments. Elena's late book club nights, her sudden interest in yoga retreats, the way she'd pull away from my touch with a forced smile. And Sophia, our brilliant, headstrong 19-year-old, home from college for the weekend, preaching about feminism and self-actualization. I thought it was just youthful idealism. Now it felt like a knife twisted deep. Heart pounding, I scooped up the phone and scrolled further, each message a fresh wound. "Sophia, remember what we talked about? Monogamy is a patriarchal trap. Empower yourself." Elena: "I feel guilty, but..." "Yeah, he's so predictable. I need excitement." Predictable. The word stung like a slap. I'd worked 60-hour weeks at the firm to give them everything. Vacations in Italy, Sophia's tuition at that elite liberal arts school. Humiliation washed over me, hot and suffocating, imagining them giggling over my obliviousness. I pictured Sophia's smug grin, her dyed blue hair framing eyes that once looked at me with adoration. Now resentment festered, dark and oily, pooling in my gut. I paced the kitchen, the floorboards creaking under my weight, each step fueling the storm inside. Denial crept in first. Maybe it was a joke, a misunderstanding. But the photo was time-stamped last night, while I was at the office crunching numbers for a deadline. Elena had texted me good night with a heart emoji. Liar. The anger surged, visions flashing. Smashing the phone, confronting them both in a screaming rage. But no, that would be too quick, too messy. I needed to think, to plan. Obsession took root, a cold resolve hardening amid the heartbreak. They thought I was predictable. I'd show them unpredictability. The front door clicked open hours later, Elena's heels tapping on the entryway tile. "Honey, you're home early." Her voice was light, innocent, but I caught the faint slur of wine on her breath. She appeared in the doorway, her chestnut hair tousled, makeup slightly smudged, evidence of her empowerment. My stomach churned, but I forced a smile, every muscle screaming in protest. "Yeah, wrapped up sooner than expected." I kept my tone even, though my hands trembled as I poured coffee. The bitter aroma filled the air, grounding me. Inside, doubt gnawed. Was I overreacting? Marriages had rough patches. But no, this was deliberate sabotage, egged on by our daughter. Sophia bounded in behind her, backpack slung over one shoulder, her piercings glinting under the pendant light. "Hey, Dad. Mom and I grabbed sushi. You should have come." Her eyes sparkled with feigned warmth, but I saw the calculation there, the subtle appraisal. Did she suspect I knew? I nodded, swallowing the bile. "Sounds fun. How's school?" "Amazing. Taking this gender studies class. It's opening my eyes to so much." She leaned against the counter, popping a grape into her mouth. "Like how society traps women in outdated roles." "Right, Mom." Elena laughed nervously, avoiding my gaze as she unpacked groceries. "Sophia's got a point. It's refreshing." The words hung heavy, laced with unspoken secrets. Tension coiled in the room, thick as fog, But they chatted on, oblivious to my silent fury. That night, as Elena slept beside me, her breathing soft and rhythmic, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Heartbreak clawed at me. Memories of our wedding, her in white lace, promising forever. Sophia's first steps toddling into my arms. Now tainted. Resentment built, layer by layer. For Elena's weakness, for Sophia's manipulation. Why push her mother into this? Jealousy. Rebellion. I delved deeper into my thoughts, admitting the ugly truth. I'd spoiled Sophia, shielded her from consequences, while Elena enabled her every whim. Moral conflict stirred. Was I blameless? My long hours had left Elena lonely, perhaps. But betrayal. No excuse. By dawn, obsession gripped me fully. I'd play the fool a while longer, gather evidence, let them dig deeper. Subtle hints of vengeance flickered, small disruptions planting seeds of doubt. But fear whispered too. What if revenge destroyed me? Pushed them away forever. I shoved it down, cold resolve winning. This wasn't just anger. It was justice. Over the next weeks, the slow burn ignited. I installed tracking apps on Elena's phone during her shower, the steam clouding the bathroom mirror as guilt pricked me. But justification followed. They started this war. Texts confirmed more trysts with Alex, a gym instructor. Cliched, humiliating. Sophia's encouragement continued. You're glowing, Mom. Dad suspects nothing. My fists clenched reading it, knuckles white. At dinner one evening, the atmosphere crackled with unspoken tension. Rain pelted the windows, thunder rumbling like my suppressed rage. Elena passed the salad, her fingers brushing mine, once tender, now repulsive. Soft, tell Dad about your essay, she prompted, voice overly bright. Sophia smirked, twirling pasta on her fork. It's on female autonomy in modern relationships. How women reclaim power by breaking free from toxic monogamy. Her eyes met mine challengingly. I forced a chuckle, heart hammering. Sounds provocative. But what about trust? Commitment? She rolled her eyes. Dad, that's boomer talk. Empowerment means choices, even if they hurt outdated norms. Elena's fork paused mid-air, a flicker of guilt in her eyes. Sophia's generation sees things differently. The words fueled my obsession. That night, alone in my study, the desk lamp casting long shadows on oak panels, I plotted. Fantasies swirled, exposing them publicly, ruining Sophia's college prospects, making Elena beg for forgiveness. Doubt crept in. Would revenge heal or hollow me? But humiliation replayed, driving me on. Subtle moves began. I accidentally left Elena's phone unlocked on the counter, watching her panic as she snatched it. Everything okay? I asked innocently. Fine, she muttered, cheeks flushing. Suspense built. She grew paranoid, arguments flaring over nothing. You're distant, she'd accuse. You're imagining things, I'd reply, mirroring her gaslighting. Sophia noticed too, her texts to Elena. Dad's acting weird. Be careful. Let them squirm. One rainy afternoon, I followed Elena to the gym, parked across the street in my sedan, wipers swishing rhythmically. Through fogged glass, I saw her embrace Alex, laughter cutting through the downpour like shards. Heartbreak surged anew, but so did resolve. I snapped photos, evidence stacking. Inner conflict raged. Part of me yearned to confront, forgive, rebuild. But resentment won, Sophia's words echoed. Holding you back. I'd show them freedom's cost. As part one crested, tension peaked at a family gathering. Relatives milled in our living room, laughter echoing off walls adorned with photos of happier times. Elena clinked glasses, toasting our strong bond. Hypocrite. Sophia pulled her aside, whispering, How's Alex? Still empowering. I overheard from the hall, blood roaring in my ears. The hook of betrayal fully embedded, I slipped away, cold planning crystallizing. Revenge wasn't impulse. It was art, slow and deliberate. The envelope arrived anonymously at Sophia's dorm, postmarked from a town I'd never visited. A careful misdirection. Inside, printouts of the texts, photos of Elena and Alex tangled in passion, and a note. Empowerment has consequences. Choose wisely. I imagined her face paling as she read, the dorm room's fluorescent buzz amplifying her shock. It was my first strike, subtle yet piercing, designed to fracture their alliance without revealing my hand. Guilt flickered in me as I pictured her confusion, but resentment quashed it. She'd orchestrated this. Now she'd taste isolation. Back home, Elena grew erratic, her once poised demeanor cracking. She'd jump at notifications, eyes darting to her phone like a hunted animal. Work stress, she'd lie when I asked, her voice thin. The house felt heavier, shadows lengthening in corners as winter approached, frost etching the windows like fragile veins. Sensory details assaulted me. The acrid scent of burnt coffee from her distracted mornings, the creak of floorboards under her pacing feet at night. I feigned concern, touching her shoulder, skin clammy under my fingers, while inside obsession churned. Was this justice or madness? Moral grayness haunted me. Revenge blurred lines, turning me into the manipulator I'd despised. Dialogue sharpened the tension. One evening over undercooked steak, her cooking suffered now, she snapped. Why are you staring? Something on your mind. I met her gaze steadily, heart a drumbeat. Just wondering if you're happy. You seem empowered lately. She froze, knife clattering. What does that mean? Nothing, I said softly, a hint of menace slipping through. Sophia uses that word a lot. Thought it fit. Her eyes widened, fear flashing before she masked it. She's young, idealistic, but doubt seeded, sprouting in her texts to Sophia. Your dad's onto something. We need to talk. Perfect. Let paranoia fester. Sophia's response came via a frantic call home, her voice echoing through the speakerphone as Elena put it on. Mom, I got this weird package. Texts, pictures, someone knows. Elena's gasp was audible, the color draining from her face. I stood in the doorway, unseen, pulse racing. What? How? I don't know. It quoted my words. It'll empower you. Mom, this is bad. Guilt pricked me then, hearing Sophia's tremor. My little girl scared. Inner conflict surged. Was I a monster terrorizing my own child? But flashbacks hit, her betrayal, Elena's infidelity, and cold resolve returned. This was poetic. They'd empowered each other to destroy me. Now I'd empower their regret. The slow burn accelerated. I escalated subtly, hacking Elena's email, skills from a forgotten IT course, forwarding incriminating messages to Alex's wife. Anonymous, of course. Chaos ensued. Alex's marriage imploded, his texts to Elena frantic. What the hell? My wife's leaving me. Elena confided in Sophia, their bond straining under suspicion. Who could be doing this? Elena whispered one night, curled on the couch, wine glass trembling. The fire crackled, casting flickering shadows that danced like accusations. Someone who knows too much, I replied cryptically, sipping scotch. The burn down my throat mirrored my inner fire. Fantasies evolved. Not violence, but psychological ruin, exposing Sophia's role to the family, tanking her scholarships with tips about her ethics. But fear grew. What if they traced it back? Doubt gnawed during quiet moments, alone in the garage, tools scattered like my thoughts. Heartbreak resurfaced. Loving Elena despite everything, missing Sophia's innocence. Moral conflict peaked. Revenge felt justified, yet it hollowed me, sleep evading as obsession consumed. Pacing quickened. Sophia came home unannounced, bags thudding in the foyer. We need a family meeting, she declared, eyes red-rimmed. Rain lashed the windows, thunder underscoring the drama. We sat in the living room, air thick with unspoken rage. Elena fidgeted, twisting her ring, our wedding band a bitter irony. Sophia broke first. Someone's targeting us. Those texts. It's like they want to ruin everything. Who would do that? Elena asked, voice breaking. I leaned forward, feigning shock. Maybe someone you hurt. Betrayal breeds enemies. Their eyes met, guilt mirroring. Tension coiled, suspense at boiling point. Then the twist unraveled. Sophia's voice cracked. Mom, I pushed you into this. I thought it was right, but… Dad, if you knew. Elena's head snapped up. Sophia, no. But it poured out, confessions tumbling like dominoes. I told Mom to cheat. Said it'd empower her. But it was stupid, selfish. I was angry at you, Dad, for always working, missing my games. I wanted to hurt you indirectly. Humiliation crashed anew, but mixed with vindication. Elena sobbed. I'm sorry, Mark. It was a mistake. I felt trapped, but that's no excuse. Rage boiled, but I held back, the moment electric. You both destroyed us. For what? Empowerment. Sophia reached for me, tears streaming. Forgive us. Here the payoff struck. Cold resolve crystallized. I'd planned this revelation, but now, face to face, unexpected consequences hit. Instead of triumph, emptiness loomed. But I twisted the knife. Forgiveness? After this. I revealed my hand slowly. I sent the envelope. Forwarded the emails. Watched it all crumble. Shock rippled. Elena's gasp, Sophia's recoil. Dad. Why? Because you taught me empowerment means choices, I said, voice steady despite the storm inside. I chose revenge. The room fell silent, thunder rumbling distant. But the true twist, as they begged, I felt no joy, only guilt's weight. Revenge hadn't healed. It amplified the void. In a shocking pivot I stood. Pack your things. We're done. Elena clutched my arm. Mark, please. No. I walked out into the rain, water soaking me, washing away obsession. Poetic justice. Perhaps. But the psychological impact lingered. I'd won yet lost myself. In the end, as I drove away, headlights cutting through the downpour, a final thought. Betrayal birthed revenge, but revenge birthed solitude. The ultimate consequence. Freedom, cold and empty.